Hello, good morning. My name is Raymond Young, and I'm the Business Development Director here at Rico UK, and also the eCommerce Director. I've been enjoying working with Rico for more than 30 years, and may I start by thanking you all for taking time out of your busy schedules to join this webinar. It's part of Rico's Work Together Anywhere series of customer-focused sessions designed to educate, share insights, best practice for people and businesses to further flourish and work in a sustainable, secure manner from anywhere, which is very relevant right now for us all. If you've joined one of our highly attended previous webinars, you will be familiar with the format and the tools that you've got at your disposal during the webinar, which I will touch upon in a moment. Before, I would also like to mention that all previous sessions of the Work Together Anywhere webinars, including this one, within a day or two, will be available online for you and your colleagues to replay as and when needed on demand. You will receive another communication from us that will contain the links to them for easy access and bookmarking. So back to the tools we have available for your use during today's session. Firstly, you can submit questions via the Q&A option on your screen, and we welcome these as we go through the session if any questions pop up, and we'll focus on answering those questions that are submitted towards the end of the webinar. If we don't get around to answering all the questions during the session live, rest assured we'll personally take ownership and respond to you individually following. You may also download resources and click on any of the useful links that you'll see on the control panel of your screen today. Like you and like many companies, Rico has had most of our people working remotely since the start of the virus pandemic. And Rico is a living example of our flexible approach to working, whilst remaining highly productive through these Work Together Anywhere webinars. We've been helping other companies change the way they're thinking and working whilst remaining secure and being able to continue to do all the things they could have done during the office during this time, no matter where work is being done today. We will focus on procurement and how Rico and our eShop can assist you and your business in this area. So during today's webinar, we'll touch upon and cover through discussion some of the challenges procurement departments are experiencing today, especially since many of the procurement professionals are now working remotely. Why having a solid procurement strategy is vital for a successful business and to help squeeze out those costs. And this leads into how eProcurement can help address many of these challenges. Before we get into the detail, I'd like to and cover the points previously mentioned. I have the pleasure of introducing the people with me today forming our panel of speakers who will also help answer and provoke thought through this topic. Most speakers are with us live and in person on the webinar, with one recorded session made with a highly valued and respected customer of ours from Celtic Manor in Wales, who was unavailable to make today's date, but was keen to make a contribution, sharing their insights and experiences, which we're grateful for. I was going to introduce to you Hannah Colgan, who was going to be taking part of today's session with me. Unfortunately, Hannah's gone down with some food poisoning, along with 3 of other family members. So she's had to obviously sit out today's session. So unfortunately, I'm going to be covering her components of this session. But Hannah is my e-commerce customer success manager, and she's very focused on helping customers deliver value through e-procurement solutions. So anytime in the future you want to reach out and speak to, you may. I would also like to introduce you to one of our customers called Kath Robinson from High Ground Consultancy. And Kath is a key account manager there and has first-hand experience of their procurement process. Welcome, Kath, and hello.
Good morning, Ray. Good morning, everybody.
Thank you, Kath, and we'll come back and we'll pose some questions to you later on, so thank you for joining. We've also got our very own Chief Financial Officer, Rachel Stokes, who later I will pose some challenging questions to, I suppose. And I hope Rachel's insights and experiences from a finance and procurement perspective will help you all. Hello, Rachel, and also thank you for joining today.
Morning, Ray. Morning, everyone. Really looking forward to the session and hopefully answering not some challenging questions.
Superb. Lastly, but by no means least, we do have a recording from Declan Bloom, as I said, from Celtic Manor Resorts in Wales, they offer hotel, conferencing facilities, and of course, that world-class Ryder Cup golf course there, who is near daily involved with procurement as their IT contracts manager. So thank you, Declan, in advance for your contribution to today's session. And as I say, I'll play a recording of him talking to Hannah a little bit later. Before, though, we ask our speakers some questions, and please allow me for a few minutes to place some context around eProcurement and why businesses, if they have not started already, should really think about reviewing, developing, improving their eProcurement strategy. I'm just going to advance to the next slide. Well, complexity costs money and wastes time. So keep your procurement strategy simple. That's an important message. It's about simplicity. Consolidating and simplifying your supply chain can be very effective. Supplier consolidation improves compliance with procurement processes, reduces financial irregularities, streamlines approval processes, and increases sustainability. And this is true and applicable for SMB businesses, enterprise, and corporate. So no matter what size of business, these procurement, if it's complex, then it's going to cost your business money. This particular slide, if I can just introduce it, I'm going to talk over in quite some detail these areas. Sort of illustrates the key problems in the bold. Number of complex suppliers and complexity of suppliers. Achieving cost and driving value, maverick spending, and reporting are four key areas I want to sort of highlight and touch upon. And the information below touches upon some of the ideas and solutions that can really help. See, high-performing organizations tend to have fewer suppliers. In fact, highly effective procurement departments have 78% fewer suppliers than typical companies. This is following research by a number of businesses, but namely and including Hackett Group. But why is this important? Well, procurement teams are often the unsung heroes of organizations. While other departments such as sales and innovation teams enjoy the limelight, procurement are often the ones agreeing the terms with suppliers, looking for savings. They're double-checking contracts. Procurement teams are rarely the center of attention, but they do have a massive impact. And a strategic, consolidated approach to procurement can lead to cost savings, less admin, more accurate reporting, and streamlined processes and better cost control. In terms of gaining visibility of purchasing, most businesses will have processes in place designed to control employees' spending. But inevitably, some purchases slip through the net, and this is known as maverick spending. It's spending which is outside of agreed contracts or doesn't stick to proper processes. In the majority of cases, it's pretty innocent, and a purchase might seem too insignificant, or there might not be enough time to go through the proper channels. Whatever the reason, it can lead to all sorts of problems, such as inaccurate financial reporting, missing out on a negotiated savings, and increased admin for the procurement and the business. Consolidating your suppliers makes it harder for maverick spenders to sidestep processes. If you only have a handful of suppliers, it's more obvious when people are spending elsewhere, and you can address that challenge. In one study published by Spend Matters, it showed procurement departments that achieve high levels of compliance with their procurement processes spend 12% less on IT and telecom, 19% less on human resources and services, and 20% less on general supplies and equipment. These percentages in savings are significant, and I'm sure we would all love these types of savings within our businesses and your business as well. Better visibility and reporting can also be improved as well. With fewer suppliers, the more centralized you make your procurement process, this can help to break down information silos and remove blind spots, making your financial reporting more accurate. Having all your financial data available in one place also makes it much easier to analyze. Complex analysis across multiple markets that would previously taken a lot of manual aggregation and deduplication can now be automated. This can provide you with more insight than ever on where you're spending, where you could be making savings, and what steps you might want to take. This data can also help you with more accurate forecasting, active analytics, helping you plan for the future and look after your organization's bottom line. E-commerce can help with better purchasing control and auditability. Modern e-commerce systems have made it much easier for managers, directors, and procurement teams to track employees' purchasing behavior. Individual employees can be assigned accounts with contracted suppliers, and these accounts can be monitored, keeping track of how much employees are spending, what they're buying, and who approves the purchases. Limits and thresholds can also be set, sending notifications to managers when certain amounts have been spent. Purchases can also be monitored to make sure multiple departments or employees aren't buying the same thing, helping reduce costs and overstocking. So cost efficiencies is paramount, and consolidating your suppliers increases your buying power. The fewer suppliers you have, the more likely to spend with them. Bear with me 1 second, please. Yeah, the fewer suppliers you have, the more likely you are to spend with them, and the more likely you are to be able to negotiate a deal. Now that may take the form of reduced cost or improved service. Key customers also tend to get preferential treatment and may even be assigned account managers who can make things happen internally on your behalf. Perhaps most importantly of all, you'll be able to tailor your negotiation to your exact needs and requirements. It leads to less admin. That also is something that you can look forward to, as managing multiple suppliers takes time and creates a lot of work for procurement and finance teams. Contacting their finance teams, researching their services, negotiating contracts, comparing prices, raising POs, making payments, and querying invoices. These things all take a lot of time. If you have countless different suppliers to manage, that time is multiplied. And every supplier might have a slightly different way of doing things. The more consolidated your supply chain is, the less admin you have to do. Also, more streamlined the process is likely to become as you're going to be repeating it that much more often, and it'll be a lot faster. Finally, but by no means least, sustainability. It's more sustainable with an e-procurement strategy, especially when you're leveraging e-commerce at the same time. As organizations become more mindful of their impact on the environment and regulators apply more pressure through new legislation, supply chain transparency will become paramount. It's likely that in the future, organizations would have to be able to prove that they've taken steps to minimize their carbon footprint. In recent years, we've all seen fashion brands and retailers been rocketed by supply chain ethics standards. Consumers expect brands to have ethical and supply chain visibility, and it's a big part of this. Cutting costs through cheaper labor or wasteful production processes can damage your brand and lose you customers. We've already discussed how consolidating can improve visibility in terms of spending, but it also increases visibility in terms of your environmental impact and helps establish an end-to-end view of your supply chain. The fewer suppliers you have, the easier it becomes to monitor and understand your supply chain. The world of work is more complex and fast-paced and interconnected than ever. It was prior to the pandemic and more since, but simplest solutions would tend to be the most effective and cost-effective. Reducing your partners down to a core group of trusted suppliers who can provide you the range of products your business needs via an eProcurement system, also known as an eShop or eCommerce, can help you reduce costs, improve that visibility, manage the bottom line, and be more sustainable. We have a solution in this at Ricoh, and it's called the Ricoh eShop, and this is available 24/7 access to a wide range of office products, printers, and IT suppliers. It's a one-stop shop e-commerce solution that can help you and your company spend smarter and save more. Our solution was born out of our customers' demands, and it continues to evolve as our customers ask for more features to help them, and we are also keen to take the voice of the customer as we continue to develop our offerings. I hope what I've just covered positions well with you how and why an e-procurement strategy is important. The good news is that Ricoh has a wealth of experience in this area, and we're always available to help. At this stage, I would like to bring in Rachel Stokes and our CFO and answer some questions if we may. So are you there, Rachel?
Sure, yes, Ray.
Rachel, we're working at a time where finance needs to be fully engaged with every major decision in the business, more than ever. Clearly it comes with challenges, but also, excuse me, they went a bit strange. It comes with challenge, but also superb possibilities, such as reconfiguring the way finance teams handle laborious transactional experiences. I ask, how can finance leaders think about using innovation to put in place systems that allow people to fully focus on their real skills? And how do you see the strategic opportunity for finance leaders, Rachel?
Thanks, Ray. I think, as you say, agile working is here to stay. I think the big thing for us here is this has allowed the business to be fully functional in any event. So really the big thing here is business continuity. So it's real time, anytime, anywhere. That's what we're working to now. And so what does that give us? So in terms of, as you've commented, so to echo all of your points, it allows, from a Ricoh perspective, being able to support our customers 24/7, creating a self-serve environment for the business, so no delays, which is really important in the current environment. But I think from a finance team and procurement perspective, agile working is bringing with it the ability to attract. We've got a wider reach now in terms of sourcing talent, and I think this will go for all organizations. We're no longer location specific. And with that obviously brings bigger opportunities, because fundamentally, as you've commented, we want to move away, and I think we'll come on to later, we want to move away from the transactional side and really spend time on the business benefits, where we can add, where we can look to further transform how we look at our spend. So we've concentrated here a lot on, yes, consolidating our spender base, but it's also our supplier base, but it's also how do we spend? So we need to free up time and oxygen to start looking at that. So I think there's lots of opportunities in this area and benefits I know we'll touch on a little bit later that this can bring.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you very much. Why do you think having an e-commerce strategy, Rachel, should be something that finance leaders and business should be looking at having to improve the business? How can this help their teams and within their business? And what are the financial benefits to be had focusing on experience?
Thanks, Ray. So, benefits, I think a lot of you already commented on a few of them already. So to echo those, this eliminates our need for paper, rework and errors. Having an e-procurement approach, it enhances visibility to spend, and in the current environment, that's really critical. It centralizes tracking of transactions, full reporting, so real time at any point we'd be able to pull down how much we spent, where we spent it, with who, what are the terms are. So that really helps end-to-end financial management, not only of your cost base hitting the profit and loss, but also from your balance sheet, what you may be holding in stock, and from cash flow. So I think the enhanced visibility is in the current environment is critical, is business critical. The other thing that we haven't touched on is ensuring compliance. So really this is around governance. This will give us far more visibility in terms of minimizing supplier risk. And in the current environment, we all know that we've got more challenges with our suppliers. And so this will enhance and will ensure more compliance in this area. That's what this brings. And I think, the benefits, all of these things lead to, we will ultimately need less staff to do the transactional side. It'll reduce the cost base, reduce errors. So we're looking at right first time, which I'm sure is the mantra for most organizations, because rework is a big cost for any organization. So I think this will free up more time to focus on the next level of transformation, which is looking at, do we do things differently? Do we start procuring? It's not about exactly what we procure, but should we procure it differently? Do we need the same level of service? Can we look for a more of an agile approach? So I think the benefits, I think there's a lot of business benefits, and with those, they will drive. We've done internally ourselves a business case in terms of the return on investment. So the savings we can make, not only people, the supply base, reducing down our suppliers, and I'll touch on one of those at the end. But I think this brings a whole host of visibility. Key takeaways are visibility from a financial perspective, a reduction in the cost base in terms of the fixed cost base of your people, and then also looking at driving further benefits with suppliers.
Wonderful, and I'm sure a lot of the procurement teams that are on today, and the finance leaders that get to watch this will be very keen to hear those sort of things you said, because it will resonate with them, I'm sure. We know that many businesses, Rachel, have already started to have already implemented eProcurement strategies within their business, but equally, there's equally as many that have not yet started. What would you say, Rachel, to finance leaders who choose to remain in that status quo position of doing nothing and sticking with this manual approach? In other words, what's changed in your opinion that should make them think differently now and look to engage with partners and suppliers who can offer that eProcurement type solution, also known as eCommerce, I suppose, and service that they need to keep their business running smoothly, be that in the office or home locations, or a blend of the two where we're working today? What would you say to those people that haven't yet done something?
Well, I think, any business, we're always looking to continually transform. To be viable in the market, we have to continually go on our evolution. And this is an evolution of all the businesses. And from a financial perspective, for any FD, CFO, they'll always be looking to reduce cost, to maintain a better cash flow, more visibility. All of these things gives us this with being more agile. It creates more visibility. This also helps decision-making, Ray. And I think all the things I've said, which is around, this drives a lot of cost reduction from people, supplier spend, cost of each transaction. I'll give you an example, just as a point. Internally, we've looked at this ourselves. By moving to this, we've reduced our cost of a transaction by 50%. So it's a lighter touch. Don't have as many, so that could be, lots of organizations will have probably already got what a cost is per transaction, and ours was over £200, just from sort of the quote all the way through to paying it. Our bank charges, we pay per single transaction on a charge. If we make a payment to each supplier, if we do something via a credit card, we just pay everything once. So there's lots of cost benefits here. So I think in the current environment, to keep us marketable and improve profit, I think this is a must for all organisations as they move forward.
Well, that's great, Rachel. Thank you. And tying back there on about the successful organisations out there the highly successful ones, have 78% fewer suppliers, and it does come to that, down to that, and it also, those benefits that you just alluded to there, or reference, I should say, are a byproduct of doing that. So fantastic. Is there, you obviously covered quite a bit there. Is any final point you want to sort of perhaps give the audience to take away as one main thing, final comment that you want to make today, Rachel?
I think the two key takeaways for me is that this drives transformation, and with that comes cost reduction. Right. But in an ever-changing environment, the agility is what's required for business continuity. Thank you, Ray.
Yeah. Thank you. Brilliant. Appreciate that, Rachel, very much. And the next stage, really, of the presentation is where I would definitely be handing over the normal circumstances to Hannah. However, I will do my best to convey this next section as well. And I'm going to be talking about how our e-commerce platform can facilitate part of that e-procurement strategy. And the Rico eShop is a one-stop e-commerce platform that allows businesses to spend smarter and save more, all the things that Rachel really was alluding to as well. So we are operating in the same way ourselves. Just to touch upon some of the key items that our platform offer, an important one is around security. And our platform does boast great security for our customers to use. We have individual users signing into our platform, and we set this up by an invitation-only basis. So customers are able to nominate people that can have access. They get their own login credentials. That allows us to provide reporting to you and information on who's spending what, tying back to Rachel about that control and reporting. That's all part of our e-commerce platform. And we're also able to allow us to provide individuals with particular roles, whether they are just viewers of the platform to check some pricing, whether they can actually place orders, and so forth. And another aspect of our platform is we can even have approvals as well, where that allows an individual to place an order, but before that comes over to people like Rico to fulfill for you, it could go to a senior manager or a procurement officer to approve that. So complete security is baked in to our platform, along with, you know, you're in complete control. When you place, use that background noise. I'm actually in one of our offices today, and there's just an announcement coming over about social distancing and keeping hands clean and practicing. So apologies if you can hear that in the background. I wasn't expecting that today. So you're in complete control as well. So when you and your staff place orders through the Rico eShop, the orders are placed against your account with us, so you don't have to make an advance payment. But some businesses prefer to pay by credit card or by purchasing card, and again, we can facilitate that through our platform as well. So you've got control. The other part about control is we can also control what your staff see. We can limit the catalogue that is shown, and so forth. Ordering with confidence, and this ties back into that restriction of catalogue, I believe, where we're able to, we've got over 80,000 products available on our platform today. It does change, it does grow. We've predominantly got well over 60,000 plus products that are from other manufacturers, Lenovo, Microsoft, just to name a few. So the Rico eShop isn't just about Rico products. It's about providing a one-stop solution to fulfill all customers' needs and requirements. I said about customizing. We can customize the look and the feel. So when you and your staff log in, it feels like it's your platform. and we can customize that with your branding, and we can also customize it to the products that are being displayed. It's refining that catalog. If you, in your organization, if I talk about IT for a minute as one area where people are spending more and more today as they provide products for home workers, we can restrict that catalog that's displayed just to the products, your golden products that you want your people to procure, minimizing that sort of off-piste maverick spending that we spoke about earlier on. It's quick and convenient. We've got customers rating our site and service very, very high. It's quick and easy to use. It's very clean. It's what you'd expect from a business-to-business platform, and that's what we operate. We're operating a business-to-business platform here, not a business-to-consumer platform. And this is available 24/7, and we're finding procurement officers placing orders with us outside of normal working hours as they've become more agile, working in between managing family challenges, with children being off, obviously, from school for a long period during the virus pandemic. We've seen more and more people ordering on our platform out of normal hours. So we're able to give you that benefit as well. So hopefully I've done those slides that Tanner was going to take you through a good enough job there. I'm just going to now play the recording that Hannah did with Declan Bloomer from the Celtic Manor. So hopefully if I click advanced, hopefully you'll then see and hear from Hannah and Declan Bloomer. I'll just give that a moment to come to life.
So hi Declan, and thank you for joining me today, and it's really great to have you here for our webinar, which is how to simplify your e-procurement strategy. And thank you for discussing your e-commerce experience online with Rico. So within the webinar, we've just really spoken about how using an e-commerce platform can help a business to control and, help with accuracy of processing. So in your opinion, obviously you've been using the eShop now for 2 years. How would you say that the Rico eShop has helped Celtic Manor gain control over your procurement strategy within Celtic Manor?
Yeah, hi Hannah. I'd say it's really helped us to streamline our procurement process in the IT department. We find the eShop really user-friendly, and the reports we're now able to get on our spend and on department spend and different user spend has really helped us. It's also taken away a lot of the old admin tasks that we would do previously via Excel. It's also helped us to create a favorites catalog, which has helped to streamline the amount of different products that we were buying, and that's also then had an impact on our support team, where they're supporting far less different types of products.
Great. That's really good to hear, and it's nice to hear that you're using some of the features and functionality of the site, such as the favourites, and obviously the reporting as well, which is helping take away some of the admin burden that you may have previously had.
Yeah, definitely.
So as I said, I mean, you've been using the eShop for a number of years, placing I think over around 150 orders, so you've been using it a lot, and those products have predominantly been IT products that you've been ordering. So since using the eShop, we've just really spoken about how it's helped you to gain control over your procurement. But what about like the buying strategy of Celtic Manor? Has this changed at all, and if so, how?
Yeah, it's mainly helped sort of simplify our strategy, mainly within the IT department. It's reduced the need for multiple different online accounts, as a majority of the items are available direct from the eShop now anyway. So it's reduced the amount of orders we were placing previously through various different online suppliers. And then we've still got our internal account managers at Rico who are there to help us then with product decisions if we do need further advice outside of the eShop.
Yeah, that's perfect. And I think a lot of our customers are saying the same, really, that it's really helping to streamline a strategy so that you do just have that one key supplier to go to and you've got the quotes there time and time again, but also still having that personal touch with your account manager. So that's really, really nice to hear. And then I guess finally, we've spoken again a lot in this webinar about efficiency and how it is really key in any organisation, and something that is particularly really important in a procurement department, because obviously it's going to help save time and it's going to help save money. Everyone's striving for efficiency. So how has the eShop helped Celtic Manor achieve efficiency? And if it has helped you, what are some of the benefits that you've then got from this?
Yeah, it's definitely helped us. I think one of the main things is we're able to get our everyday products in one place without having to go off and request quotes for things as simple as keyboards and mice, when we know we're never going to save a fortune. The price isn't going to vary that much on those items. So we're just able to go in, place orders, even in bulk, from one place. And it's definitely helped us in that way.
Great. Well, thank you, Declan. It's been really great speaking to you. And as I said, it's been a pleasure speaking to you and for you to share your story of Celtic Manor and how you've been using our online platform. So I'm really glad you was happy to be a part of our webinar, and I look forward to continuing business with Celtic Manor and Rico in the future. So thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you very much.
Wonderful, and I'm hoping that that video came across well from Hannah and Declan, so thank you once again, Declan. Before I just dive in and sort of speak with Kath Robinson from High Ground, I just want to touch back on one of the things that Declan mentioned, and that was about the account manager's always there. You know, Rico is very much a people business. We still have account managers looking after all our customers, and that spans from our print side through to our supply of media and supplies. There's always somebody that you can talk to on the phone, across live chats, across email, and you'll get a response as a Rico customer. When it comes to the transactional element, we'll take that as much online as we possibly can for all those efficiencies and agile working we were talking about earlier on. And I'm sure many of you listening today will be going through your transformation processes that you probably had in place before the pandemic, but definitely probably doing since to have a sustainable business going forward. So Declan did make a very valid point. I just wanted to emphasize you've still got account managers working with you. So I want to just go into the next slide, if I can. And I'm hoping on screen right now, I should say Kath Robinson. Hello, Kath. Are you there?
I am. Morning, Ray.
Hello, good morning to you. Thank you, Kath, for giving up some of your time, and I can now see you on camera as well. Just 2 or 3 questions, if I may, Kath. Put yourself live. For you, how has using the eShop helped you gain control over your procurement at High Ground, may I ask?
So the Rico eShop allows High Ground and our customers to procure quality consumable items for our clients' businesses. Using through the High Ground branded account and using our purchasing power that our customers and our clients may not have been able to access from separate suppliers. I am able to track their orders and their spend all on one site, and I can also then provide my clients' finance teams with those reports so that they can see clearly what their spend has been. One of the things that we've done really successfully is we've set up a child account where our clients can access the site themselves and they can order their consumable items without relying on me to place the order for them. And having that child account has freed up much more time for me, so I no longer have to step in and be that middleman. And just to put it into context, just one of my bigger clients during 2019 averaged around about 18 consumable orders per month. So that's what I was having to step in and help them with. And now that they can do that themselves, obviously that provides me with much more time to be able to provide a quality service from High Ground's point of view.
That's brilliant to hear that, and hopefully the audience today have picked up on their, there's a lot of innovation here as well that we do with our clients, and you reminded me that what we did for you was quite unique initially. We've since done it with a couple of other customers. You gave us some great ideas, and that is, we want to work with our customers to tailor the solution to deliver best benefit for your organization. And one size doesn't fit all the time. And I'd like people to appreciate that by talking to Rico through your account manager or talking to my e-commerce team, we can often tailor things for you. And that's what we've done for your organization, Kath, and I'm pleased that you're getting lots of benefit. But you mentioned that High Ground is using the eShop directly. You use it yourself, but you're also using it for your customers to procure via the platform. I know that you both are taking advantage of this of eShop's approval hierarchy feature to help manage the spend through the portal and provide you with full visibility. Can you explain exactly what you've had set up and the level of control that that's provided you? That's around out some of our approval. Wouldn't mind expanding on that?
Sure. So since our clients have access to place orders through High Ground's account via their child account, we felt that it was really important to have this approvals process in place just to ensure that that spend was capped and that individuals within the client firm had that they could only purchase certain items that had been approved by their facilities team, say, and that it had been approved by us as well. We put in place an approvals process of a spend of over £500 per order. An email is sent directly to me from the Rico eShop when the purchase exceeds that limit. So I can then go onto the site, check the items that have been ordered, have been approved, and then quickly just a couple of clicks to approve that, and then the order goes off on the way to be processed by Rico. The process is really simple, and it takes less than a minute for me to undertake. But it really gives High Ground a really good financial security and control, whilst also letting the client have their ability to just go and place their orders, quite simply.
Yeah, very, very interesting. And again, this often is a key requirement of our customers that we engage with, that they want that control. They don't want people ordering without their knowledge, and they often want to put a spend limit on it, and we can definitely do that. And we have one of our customers, just to share with you, a bank, a very large bank that we would all know. I won't say their name, but they've got over 80 of their employees freely ordering through the Rico e-commerce platform on a regular basis. But every time an individual places an order, we don't get to see that straight away. It goes through to one of their procurement officers, who either approves it, and which effectively releases it to us to go and fulfill, or this lady declines it and is able to give back a written response saying that I'm declining this because of X reason. Often I see that she's declined because somebody's been ordering multiple of something. It could be that when you talk about some cartridges and inks for particular print devices, we all know they're not cheap buy. And if two's ordered instead of one, it's sort of doubling the cost, and of course the second one could get lost. So these are the sort of things that we are finding, like yourself, Kath, companies are benefiting from, of having that extra control baked in to those approval processes. And tying it back as well, just briefly, to your comment about a restricted catalogue. So we can always do that as well. The last question I'll pose to you today, and if you don't mind, I hope that the Rico eShop has helped High Ground to gain efficiencies, not only in the procurement area, but also across your whole business. Have you any experience of this that you could explain and talk about? Would you mind? As any others areas of the business benefited?
Definitely the areas of business that benefited with is just the ease and simple to use of the eShop site. It is really importantly user friendly, and it's features that are really well known within the online shopping, such as add to basket and that sort of thing. The site has many high quality consumable products which are available, it's a great one-stop shop. Which just means that it's just a great platform for our customers to go and procure their items that they're needing. We've been able to cut costs and increase time efficiency for our clients, and of course that makes them very happy customers. Before we introduced one of our main clients that I mentioned earlier to the eShop, they were using multiple consumable items from multiple suppliers, and across all of their UK offices. That meant that they got no brand conformity. So any one particular site using a different consumable item, whilst it was the same, say paper, for instance, it was different in another site. So that's kind of led that brand conformity, which their leadership team's been really happy with. That's then also provided them with cost savings, because they're now just paying the one price for the whole of their firms.
That's brilliant, and you know, again, you've emphasised there that there are lots of peripheral benefits to be had here. You know, it didn't dawn on me about, you know, conformity. I suppose it ties back to that maverick spender, that if there is no control and no strong guidance of where people should go to buy, be it paper, be it consumable item, be it the IT products, if they don't have clear direction and control, they'll go off piste and do their own thing, and often that can pose lots of challenges. You know, especially in the IT space when stuff that is not really approved. We can definitely help with that, and I appreciate, Kath, you sharing with the audience today some of your experiences working with us and also working with our eProcurement and e-commerce solution. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
So, thank you very much, Kath. And I'd also like to say thank you again to Declan as well for the video that he made for us. And I suppose it's that time where we can go and see if we've got any questions being asked by the audience of what we've covered so far. So David Clack, who's monitoring our Q&A coming in. David, have we got any questions there that you would like us to take from you, please?
Yeah, thanks, Ray. Great session. We have had a number of questions that have been put forward. So, Rachel, you said at the beginning you wanted some challenging questions, and we have one here that was specifically posted for you. So, I think you touched on this in your session, but the question is, do you have an example of a strategy that you implemented within finance and procurement that delivered business benefits? And if so, what was it? What was that you were able to share? Approximate values? Are you able to share approximate values, I think is the question.
Good question. Thanks, David. So, yes, I do have one, and that's a two-pronged approach in terms of our supplier base. So, one, we have reduced our number of suppliers in terms of going to this, but also the ability, the transparency, as we said, of the information allowed us to look at. We were using lots of suppliers for the same product. And not getting the best deal. So it was a two-pronged approach in terms of reducing our supplier base, reducing the number of suppliers for the same product, drove cost reduction and further rebates that we were allowed to achieve from the suppliers. What that's given us to date in terms of reducing, looking to consolidate our spend, being able to drive the unit cost down, our initial savings on our procurement base, currently that per annum, we've got £2 million.
Wow.
We'd like more. So I'll be clear, I expect, when we look at our total spend, I'd want more than that, but that gives you an initial view, just the low-hanging fruit, I should say, by, as I say, consolidation of the supplier spend, but also looking at it in terms of how we spend, consolidating, not, as you say, using this word maverick spender, but by bringing it all into one envelope. It helps us look at things a little bit more proactively, and that's driven per annum, as I say, £2 million for Rico UK currently.
Well, thanks, Rachel. I think that's probably covered that question. Now, Ray, I know you're without Hannah today, so I guess a lot of these other ones are going to be coming your way, unfortunately for you. But if I have one here, are all of the processes for acquiring non-Rico product automated within your platform, such that orders are placed on manufacturers in real time and stock/lead times are updated accordingly?
That's a good question, actually. So on our platform, we obviously use a number of suppliers into us, and we are taking live stock feeds to enable us to aggregate those stock feeds and share those with our customers. And I'll give you an example of one where today, if you went on our e-commerce platform, you'd see there's about 3,000 plus different laptops available for companies to buy, a range of manufacturers, all the popular ones, Apple, HP, Lenovo, Dell, etc. And we also show what's live in stock. That would be next day delivery, effectively, if ordered before 4:30. And when I looked yesterday afternoon, that number was around just under 700 of those 3,000 laptops available for next day delivery. The other products are often acquired to fulfill customers' needs on demand, and that we commit to an SLA of a maximum of 3 days. If for any reason, though, that is going to be delayed, and let's be honest with ourselves, during this virus pandemic, supply has just gone through the roof on certain things, and more manufacturing is having to be done to fulfill that requirement. Some things are taking longer. But I said earlier on about us being a people business. I'm non-confident, David. But we are a people business, and if our customers' orders are going to be looking like they're going to be longer than 3 days, we will contact every single customer and talk about that order that they've placed and what would they like to do about that particular order. Would they like to, if it's going to come in 5 days, they might want to wait and there's no rush. If they need it like ASAP, they can't wait, we can either cancel that order, which we'll happily do, no problem, switch it to another product. But the thing is, we'll talk. It isn't like we run an e-commerce, e-procurement platform where there's no interaction with people. There is. Hopefully that answers that question that came from the audience.
Yeah, thanks, Ray. And staying with you, we have one here. We have lots of employees working from home requiring IT products, etc. Can you deliver to home addresses and offer a solution to customised products that our staff or procurement team can order?
Answer to both those questions is a simple yes. But just to expand on that, prior to the pandemic, we were predominantly shipping stuff to offices, as you'd expect. Overnight, things started to change, and we had to adapt. And I'm pleased to say we're now supplying to many companies home addresses for their employees, and we are creating bundles as well. So we've got a number of clients now have asked us to create a bundle for a laptop, a monitor, a keyboard, and maybe a printer, so that their employees can come on with the company having confidence that their employees are going to order the right thing at the right price, and then we can deliver to their home address. So yes, we can deliver to home locations wherever you want it delivered, and we can give you that control and good pricing as well.
Yeah, thanks, Ray. To give you a break, just had one come in actually that hopefully, Kath, perhaps you could answer from a customer's perspective. And the question is, how long does it typically take from placing an order to receiving the goods?
Hi, David. So based on our experience, delivery does tend to be next day, provided that the client places their order for the goods that are in stock, which shows on the site, and it's before it's and as long as it's before the next day delivery cut-off time, they will receive their order next business day. And if the delivery is looking like it's going to be delayed, Rico's e-commerce team will give us a call and advise us that there's a delay, and ask us what we want to do, so that we can then speak to the client or make some sort of alternative decision on their behalf.
David, can I just interject as well? Thank you, Kath, for that answer. Our stats are showing well over 90% of our orders are delivered next day, which is great. And as I mentioned a moment ago, our SLA on our terms of supply are 3 days, and how we handle that if we are looking like we're not going to meet it. So, yeah, and is there any other questions that have come in?
There is, Ray. I think this one's been answered by you since it was posted, but just to make sure there's some clarity, is there a limit to the number of people that can access the shop, and can I restrict people ordering?
Well, there is no limit. So remember, we'll set up an account for a company, whether you've got 1 employee, 10,000 employees. If you wanted a selection of people to have access, there is no limit at all. We can control who can place orders, so through roles and responsibilities. So we've got that control. And remember as well, the approvals. All those things dovetail together, so there is no limit. If I've understood that question correctly, the line crackled when you was asking it, David. Based
I do
on
have
time,
one final one, right? I have one final one. You might not thank me for sharing this one, but the question is, how competitive is the Rico eShop compared to other suppliers, and what are the products that are available?
Listen, it's a fair question, and I'm pleased you've interrupted me continuing, because it's a question we're asked all the time. If I go back to, firstly, what Rachel said, we're working a lot smarter in our organisation to buy more keenly, to get greater benefit that we're now passing on and able to pass on to our customers. So I'd like to say that we are competitive. We continually check our prices. I'd love to say we're the cheapest, but we're not going to always be the cheapest. You know, when you look at a basket of goods, we're probably cheapest on most. And that's why we've been so successful today. We wouldn't be the cheapest, sorry, we wouldn't be successful unless we're offering value. If I go back to Declan's comment, actually, just to tie a comment that he made, often, you know, you might look at buying some products, be it paper, be it keyboards, mice, monitors, and comparing one supplier to another, it could be a few pounds or a few pence difference. But when you add in the time taken to manage all those suppliers and manage the billing and the queries and the invoicing, that saving, as Rachel will testify as a CFO, is soon eradicated. So across a basket of goods, we're very competitive. And from a product perspective, supplying IT, your laptops, monitors, mice, switches, headsets, the whole portfolio of products. Media and supplies, we're talking A4 standard copy of print paper through to very specialized wide format print solutions, and also all the range of materials, ladies and gentlemen, that you might want to start to print on in your offices that provide that COVID safe signage. We've got specialist microbacterial print media that we are providing through the platform as well, and notwithstanding stationery, inks and cartridges, as I say, over 80,000. PPE we've also got available. We've got our own 3D printed face shields available to be purchased as well online. So we're adapting our platform all the time to customer requirement. Log into the eShop, ladies and gents, and have a look and a browse, and hopefully I think you'll be surprised. You might find some great value deals there. David, I'm going to continue if I may, and if there's any other questions, I'll answer them after the session today. So in summary, 78% of high-performing businesses have an e-procurement strategy. Yeah, it's important that we think about that. It's through consolidation of suppliers, and you've heard that firsthand from Kath, also Declan, and also our CFO. It's a key ingredient for success there. Accessing our our e-shop is available free, and that can complement. You're under no obligation to use our platform, but working with you, I'm sure you will. And we've got experience in this area, and we're very happy to work with you to develop your e-procurement and e-commerce strategy. And Rico does buy-in for a number of other other customers of ours, and we have been able to show them significant savings. And that amount that you quoted ourselves, Rachel, of over £2 million as an exercise. We are doing procurement processes for some of our customers, and we are saving them millions of pounds also. If you want to find out more, please do reach out to us. And on that note about how can you get in contact with us to talk about your requirements specifically, talk about the e-commerce and how we can tailor it to you, there's a range of different options where you can get in contact with us. I will give you one URL that hopefully you might want to make a note or write down. It's rico.co.uk/eshop. And through that URL, if you can remember that, rico.co.uk/eshop, you will find how you can reach us at any time through live chat, through email, through phone. And of course, these links here that are also in the panel that you're looking at today on this platform, on 24, you'll see there are some reference links that you can click on and go and have a look at this material that we've been sharing with you today. I think I've overrun about 4 minutes, but I started maybe a couple late because I had a technical problem. I do think that leads me on to the point where I want to draw the webinar to a close, and thanks to all our guests for coming on and speaking live and joining us, and those that have attended in the audience, thank you very much for giving up your valuable time, and I really hope you're going to get some benefit. And those that as well that play this back on demand, remember it will be available on demand for you to play. I'd like to thank you for listening in, and finally thank you Declan, Kath Robinson, and also Rachel Stokes. And I would have been thanking Hannah as well, and we wish Hannah well soon. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great day. Stay safe. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.